Say meow. Say meow. Okay, I'm trying a different camera here. Let's see. That seems to be working, I guess. Only way to find out is when I watch it back. Just in case it's working, I'll start the video. This is Bill's never-ending projects, and I did a 46200 code 203 Philco 70-some-year-old radio.
Code 20.
I worked on it. When I first turned it on, it was really staticky, and you wouldn't want to listen to it that way. And it just wasn't right. So I figured since it's for somebody else, and I should do it right, and I should do mine that way too later on, I replaced every capacitor in the radio. But before I did it, it was a month ago or 2 months ago when I tried it, when it actually wasn't dead. But before I was going to recap it, I tried it again, and this time it was dead. So that's what happens with some of these that sit that long. You fire them up once and it works, and then the next time it don't. So I thought if I just recapped the whole radio, then maybe it would come back, but it didn't. And so I'll show you what stopped it from working. The tube just came in the mail and I put it in and it worked, so I'll show you which one it was.
It's code 122.
Put my protective cardboard on here because I poked through the other one. I'll have to buy a new speaker.
Not for this
The problem
radio.
was this one right here. This is the first
No, it's not.
oh, forget it. There's
Only one I.
two IFs.
No, there's not.
This is the 35Z5 rectifier. This is the converter. This is the IF. And that's the detector. Combination tube. Also preamp and ABC, but it was this one that was bad. There's the old one. But definitely bad, just going in the trash. So I got that one there, and now we're good to go. So I need to, this one has a antenna amplifier. My 48 didn't have that. So I replaced this cap that's behind here. The other one was closer down in there, but here's all my capacitors I took out of it. All of those. Change them all. And here's this new cord I put on. Tied a knot. I wrapped it other way around there like the other one was, but I heard you don't have to do that with new capacitors. And there they all are. I hooked the positive up here to the switch this time because I put a polarized plug, so it's not going to be 50-50. The hot's going to get shut off with the switch from now on. And there's my, I drilled a hole in here so it would have a notch, so this tie would kind of stay in there. Then I drilled another hole here so it could go down and around. but I only could fit 2 of the capacitors on there, and the other one I just ran through here and put a tie on it like that. That's what I came up with, so. So anyway, it's working good. The, one of these dominoes that was bad in my other one works in here, because the front end's not silent. So, and then I cleaned up, these things were really staticky, these pots, or there's no pot over here, it's a rope. But that took care of that, and I suppose there's one other thing I could do.
I was thinking of putting a couple drops of 3-in-1 oil
Of
in,
course, I don't see it now, so
in-
now you've
in the
got to mention it
bearings.
anymore. So I gotta get
of the tuning.
this cardboard off the
Capacitor.
speaker. And oh yeah, by the way, since this has this antenna amplifier, this one did pull on a second station from my basement that I could, if I took these radios, if you turn them this way or turn them that way, it'll change the, when you're using the loop antenna will change the sound. So I moved the loop I had sitting right next to it a little this way, and I swear I was getting another one that's about a half an hour, 35 minutes from here, was picking it up just a little, even with all those hills. So now I want one of these that has this. So I'm gonna look for another 46, but I got to get it back in the cabinet. But I found a booklet that comes with these that shows how to, because I've tried to guess what this was so many times. Some radios, this wires comes right out of the, comes right through a hole right out of the chassis, and where it goes to the, it goes to the center of these pins. See, all these center of these tube pins are all grounded. They're all grounded to the chassis ground. And so I think that's where, on another radio, when I followed this wire, that's where it went. But all I know is, if you hook an outside antenna like I got, so if you hook the center of your outside antenna like I got here, and it comes up and you hook it to there, this part, the ground part, don't hook up. But they're saying where I was hooking was wrong. They're saying don't hook up here. Hook to this wire by removing that screw, keeping it away from the chassis, and hook this right up to this wire. Right up to that wire. And I'm going to show you the pamphlet now. And so they're not kidding when they tell you right there, if you use an external antenna, you're supposed to remove that. And then you hook this up to it. You hook this up to this wire away from the chassis. You keep it completely away from the chassis. So, because this is a hot chassis, and that you don't want that ground wire going to that hot chassis. So look, it's just called the instructions. That's why I never was able to bring it up. I was probably typing in service manual or something, or operating manual or something, but right away it starts out by talking about turning the whole radio, you know, you turn the whole chassis this way or that way, it comes in better because the loop antenna's going all the way around the chassis. So there's the
all the way around the
part where it
cabinet.
says directional aerial effect. Turning the cabinet and all this direction effect is true for all built-in aerial of the loop type. In some cases, the directional effect will give a reduction in noise interference. Of course it will, because it will come in better. So it's just about the guarantee is all. And I put a little write-up on when using the external antenna, besides hooking to the radio correctly, don't hook up the ground wire, just hook up the center wire, the RF center wire. Unless you're using 300 ohm, then there is no center wire. Use your external, then they just mean hook up one of them. Use an external antenna that is insulated from the mounting pole too, because, well, maybe that's only if you're going to hook a second wire. Maybe that's why you don't hook the second wire, because it's a direct ground to the ground, the real ground, and you don't want that. So ours again was the model 22, and they talked about some other model there. But so it talks about stuff over here that you already know. It's an off-on switch and a volume control, and the tuning control that does that little rope thing. So, okay, so over here, get this moved over here. This is where it talks about the thing that I wondered about the whole time of owning this. A built-in aerial is provided in the cabinet. It gives the excellent reception in most locations. For maximum performance in steel-reinforced buildings and other shielded locations, or when extremely distant reception is required, make use of the good outdoor antenna aerial, such as the Philco aerial part number
63. 6383
is recommended. Complete installation instructions are given with the aerial if you bought it, I guess. A connector secured to the chassis by a screw. Right there, I even colored it green. I get interference if I zoom in too much here. A connector secured to the chassis by a screw and located in the lower left-hand corner of the back. That's there. When using a built-in loop antenna, I added. Located in the lower left-hand corner of the back as shown in the drawing A. Offers a convenient method of attaching the aerial.
They mean the loop antenna.
So, complete installation instructions are given with the aerial. So they're still talking about this aerial that you can put outside and then you just run a wire in. A connector secured to the chassis by the screw in the lower left-hand corner of the back shown in the drawing A offers a convenient method of attaching that aerial. Simply remove the connector from under the screw and attach the lead-in to the connector as shown in drawing B. See? You get it completely away from the chassis, and if you're not supposed to touch a chassis, I would suggest you even put some tape around it. So when using an external antenna wire coming into the house, only center RF, don't hook up this. I should have put only use the center RF. Don't hook up the ground second wire. It does say that. Only use the center RF. Don't hook up the ground second wire. Because usually you'd have two wires coming in. So you just hook up if it's a coaxial, you'll hook up the center one like I showed you in the basement. And leave that wound one unhooked. If it is impractical in your location to install an outdoor aerial, a wire approximately 20 feet long may be placed along the baseboard or under a rug and attached to the connector. That's the connector. This indoor aerial will give satisfactory reception, but will not be affected will not be as efficient as an outdoor aerial. With this radio receiver, a good ground connection is unnecessary at any time. So they're even mentioning this. A ground connection is unnecessary at any time. If the radio is again to be operated with its built-in aerial, be sure to replace the connector. So when you go back to using the built-in aerial and the
Loop antenna.
cabinet, it's built in here.
Loop
Goes
antenna.
all the way around. They're saying when you are going back to that, make sure to replace the connector under the screw on the chassis and tighten firmly with the 1/4-inch nut driver. They don't say that, but it takes a 1/4-inch nut driver. They're showing a slotted screw, but some slotted screws also you can use a 1/4-inch nut driver. And there's that tag that says if you use see how the arrow, well, I guess the arrow is pointing at the wire, but my wire was hooked coming up over the top, so I didn't realize that arrow points to it. So it just says when using an exterior aerial to remove this wire. And if you read it close, I guess it even says to attach it on the end of it. But I didn't get that out of it, and I don't know anybody else that does. So then they go on to tell you to tune it. When you're tuning in a distant channel, don't turn the volume up too high. That's because you get distortion and interference from other stations. I don't know. I guess maybe you could determine where it's centered better if it's turned down. I don't know. So that's where we are there. I just wanted to show you this because I wanted to know this all along, and I had everything figured out, but I didn't realize you don't ever want to hook a ground to this radio, even the one that comes with this antenna. You don't want to hook it to it. I did it, and I seen a spark come in because this chassis is floating.
The B
chassis
minus.
ground is floating between there and the B minus ground. And
No, the B minus is
the only
floating.
thing in between there is a 150K resistor. So you get a small spark when you touch it because it's going to try to pull electricity from here to your
From the B minus.
if the antenna like mine is hooked right to the pole and the pole goes right to the ground and stuck in the ground, well, that's a ground. So if you go hook that second wire up here, there's going to be a spark because I seen it. But doing my first radio, I never found this out till I'm on the second radio because this wire was never hooked to there. The terminal was broke off. So this was never hooked to there. So I never found out about this. So I gotta get this cardboard back off the speaker I put on it. I had to make a new one. I found the other one. It was right up here. Sitting right up there. And now I got two of them. I guess all I do is poke holes in it and stuff. So Guess I could even keep the ties with it. I see I got them still in the other one. Oh, I gotta get the knobs out. That's these two knobs. One won't fit on the other side, one's tighter. Oh, I can't get that one. Just like getting the thing off my bread wrapper in the morning when I make my toast. Turn it the wrong way. So, feed these back in here. Have it for next time. Now I got two of them made, so. But, because I couldn't find this other one that was up here, this one, because I couldn't find it, I went and didn't put it on, and I poked a hole in the speaker in my other one.
It's the parts
Right
radio.
here.
Parts radio I got from eBay.
Oh, yeah. Now I got one on there. A little too late.
Not this one.
So then I finally must have built one and put it on there. But it's after the fact. So it's after the fact. They're sitting right there the whole time. So if I would have found that, then I would have put that on there, and I wouldn't have poked that speaker. So now I get to experience buying a speaker off eBay and detaching it there. And I think it's going to cost me just $10, but we'll see. Okay, now I just have to get this in there. Because I've already patched these two wires, and that's what I used to test the radio, and it got a connection on each end, so I scraped them good. So it isn't like they give you a handle here to put it in there, so.
Maybe I should have put some slack on those antenna wires.
I just seen I can stop halfway in with this inside of these here, because they both reach, they have enough slack. That way, I don't think there's any other way to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that done. I'll bring it back when I get this in the chassis and we'll try it out.
I lied. They're not hooked yet. Yeah, those IF tubes are kind of delicate. They were bad in both the radios that I'm doing. No, all three. Of course, I haven't proved that in my parts radio yet.
Huh?
So on my other radio from 1948, the IF is a 14A7. This IF starts with a 6.
Okay, I guess that will do.
Right, I don't know if it starts with a 6, but it's got a 6 in it. Seven A
Over there.
7A7 or
That seems to be okay right there. I thought before I put the screws in, I'll try it to make sure I got the antenna hooked up right so I don't gotta take the screws back out. So,
so when I bought the extra IF tubes for this, they won't do me any good in the other
not
one.
good. One of the antennas not getting a connection.
These tubes start with 7, and my other radio they start with 14.
Oh, that's right. Now it's later, and they turn down the power from the AM channel. Well, I'll play with my antenna connections anyway, just in case. Okay, it's morning now. I got the variac and the isolation transformer all turned on, so let's turn it on. See if I was right that it's just the radio station cut the power. All right, now we got something ready. All right, so we got something already, so shut this back off.
That was a good one. Thank you, Rod Serling, wherever you are. 829, Bill Haley.
All right. Okay, so I can give the radio back to the guy. Now, over here, I brought this triad 2 thing. And I got some I bought a bunch of these little boxes because they're 3.5 inches tall. And if you take a screw out on each side, you can take both sides off it. And these are the sides. And then you can hook all 3 together. And this is going to scratch whatever he puts it on, so I'll probably use these.
No, I won't. I'll just put
Probably
wood.
use these
I'll
here
just
to
put.
put some wood around it,
I'll
so
ju-
it's
I'll just put
not
it on the
gonna
bottom.
scratch if he sets this on a table or something. But I can put this bucking transformer down here
It's
to reduce the voltage to somewhere around 110
I bought
110 to 115.
I bought the wrong one.
Then I could put my receptacle here. Put my one cover on it, and I'm still gonna have to cover part of it.
I think it's only going to change at 5 volts.
But, and I got some fuses and stuff, so I guess I gotta work on that.
I guess 5 volts less would be better
If
than
I
that.
want the guy to run the radio cooler at, not run it at 123 volts and run it on, it's gonna reduce at 12 volts, so if it's 123, even if it reduced to 10, it would bring it down to 113, and so hopefully to bring it down to around 111, 110, that should be just fine.
Yeah, if you can
All
get
right.
if you can get the right transformer,
I guess
which I didn't.
now I gotta put a fuse in here. I'm gonna put a 0.5